In this video, I would quickly show you how I would approach adding additional information to the design. For example, I would like to be able to include the geometry. So for example, when I put those two keys together, I can insert somewhere a screw and really fasten it. And I would also like to split my design so I have the volume for an overmolded layer of material. To make myself life a little bit easier, I'm going to delete this group. So I see all these different steps. Now I can freely move around and add more features. And I know actually that this feature here, this extrude, is actually responsible for adding those cylinders. Also, thanks to Eugene, he pointed that out. I forgot about it to mention that when you do an extrusion and you set it, for example, to extend, then the moment it touches another surface, it doesn't go completely through it. So you see, for example, distance. See, they go completely through, and with to all, basically it stops where it starts touching something. So that's pretty good actually. Okay, so here, this sketch, for example, has the information about those rings. And what I'm going to do right now is pretty much very basic. So I'm going to create a copy and paste of this ring, move it straight up, maybe to there. Okay, and then in the inside, I would like to have, let me see what the dimension first is, forgot that one. So, oh, I'm in meters right now. Let's go to millimeters, okay. So it's a centimeter. Of course, now you need to know what type of, how could I say that, ring you would like to have a screw. So I'm going to create another in here, let's say 5 millimeters, enter. Okay, perfect. Good. So I'm going to click Stop Sketch. Everything is being updated, and then I can actually go to here and say Edit. And then what we're going to do, we're going to add this one actually to this part of the shell. Okay. And there's another problem that happened actually right now. Oh, where did all my design go to? So you see actually that some of my stuff is gone, and also of the blade. So when I go back to edit here and let's hide this one shell so you see what's there. The problem is that I'm joining actually those extrusions to the body, and then also the knife actually, or the blade, is next to it, so it fuses everything together. So I'm going to here and actually take my blade and make a new component. And by making a new component, it's, for example, a different object. And I can also hide it. And then, for example, if I go to here, let's go back to that stage. Yeah, see, now it complains about some input geometry is missing, and that's perfectly fine. So let's go to Edit. And let's take a look at what we have. All this should be good. Okay. And now Fusion is happy. Okay. So let's take a look at the other side. I think the command for that one is here. So edit. We have the sketch there, and for example here I'm going to add actually all this as well. Okay, there. So now I have to basically think about like where do I start making the cut. So when we have here the holes for the pin to go in, maybe from this side we feed the screw maybe in, so maybe the threading we have here. Okay, so what I can do now in this case is the following. I'm going to edit and actually say, don't use the center one. So I'm extruding another cylinder into there, as you can see. Okay. And this distance, for example, if you make a prototype, when you have a screw, you have to somewhat calculate kind of like the diameter so that, for example, the screw will fit in. Now, of course, this is not threaded. There is a threading tool, which, for example, you could apply to if you want to, and then specify everything. But with a plastic printed prototype, that's going to be maybe a little bit difficult. So all I would do is just try to make this hole tight enough so if we jam or screw a metal screw in there, it will hold it. So now the thing that's missing is now we need also something here to feed everything through. So I'm going to here, I'm going to extrude, turn on the sketch, select this opening, and now with the distance on, I simply feed it through the whole part, and you see, make a cut. Okay, so that, for example, is now the space for the screw. And now if we want to sink it into there, we could, for example, either maybe round this edge a little bit, 0.5 millimeters maybe. Okay, so it's a little bit softer. So currently we can put a complete screw through here, but and let's say this is as wide as, for example, the head is. So it would basically fall into the other side, which means there are two strategies now. Either we make this material much thicker, so we can bore out the paths for the head, the screw head, to fit through here, in case this opening should represent the width of the screw itself. Or what we simply can do is I go into here, edit, sketch, and I'm actually just simply going to create another circle there. Let's say, I don't know, 2.5. I'm just eyeballing visually some things here. Don't forget to nicely dimension all that stuff. What? It has some reference to the geometry. Okay. Oh, indeed, they're there. Okay, good. Didn't see them. Stop sketch. Perfect. And you see, that's actually one of the nice things about the whole Fusion part, that with the timeline, everything is so interactive. For solid modeling, it's really a nice blessing. So nope, we need to go to this one. Yeah, okay, add it, and now I simply add this ring. So you see now I shortened the diameter, or made it more narrow, so we can easily push a screw through there. And let's take a look if, nope, those combined commands now explode, simply because, well, I created a component out of my blade, but that's not really a big deal. All we need to do is just click on this one and then tell it this object and my cutting part is the blade, keep the tool. So number one is done, edit, tool body is the blade, cut and keep tool, there. Now Fusion is happy again. Okay, I'm going to select everything, make another group, and say this is good now. Okay, so step 2, let's actually put down or try to figure out how we can create the geometries. So for example, that part of the handle will look like, let's say, rubber overmolded. And to do that, I can make use of my original sketch I have somewhere. Here, this one. So let's go to edit sketch. There we see it. And I'm going to use the offset of this line here, and no, that's not the way I'm going to do it. I'm not putting that into there actually. You know what I'm going to do? Stop sketch. This will take a second because it has to zip update everything. I simply will create myself a new sketch here and include or project actually this edge there. Then I can hide this one. So I just made a copy of it into this new sketch, and then this include sketch I can then offset. And let's say maybe 1 millimeter. And 1 millimeter, of course, I mean, everything here is just, sometimes I adjust the values so visually you can see better what I'm doing. I'm not saying that you have to use only 1 millimeter. And now I have to be a little bit careful. So my sight, you see, stops here. So somewhere here I have to stop. So maybe I eyeball this a little bit there, and then maybe till there and there. Okay, when you see I just created myself another solid model. Okay, and the next step is going to be really very simple. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the sketch. I forgot one thing. Edit, because this is going to be a revolve object, and the revolve object needs an axis, and everything, as you see, is nicely built based on the grid. Another reason why to use the grid. Later it makes everything a lot easier. I make this a construction line because this is actually going to be my path or axis for my revolve, and it's, because of the grid, perfectly centered at the sketch. Okay, then let's go to revolve. Now I have to select everything here, there. The axis is that one, and please make a new body. Perfect. Okay, there we are. So you see, this is a revolve object, a solid that perfectly cuts through my object. So I can actually now go to split body and say you split by this full body. Okay, and then I do this one more time. Split body, this side, split using this shell we created or object. There we are. And maybe let's go to here. Let's call this one split body overmold, for example, so you understand what you're doing there. Let's go back. Don't need to see it anymore. And there we are. You see? It's actually pretty nice. Very easy. So, we can do now to maybe touch up this design a little bit. So I'm selecting all those edges at once. Yeah, and do the same actually. Can I select all at the same time? Yeah, okay. 0.25. I simply break it down into 2 fillets. I was just trying to see if I could select those all 8 edges at once. 0.25. There. There, nice. So that basically shows you the process, how we can add additional geometry, for example, a threading, how to split stuff. So for example, if we would print this one out as individual shells, you could communicate this is like an overmolded part. Of course, it would be stiff plastic. In reality, it would be an overmolded material, but just for presentation purpose, that's one way how, for example, to communicate that. And then the last part, well, is just simply create a group. All these groups currently are not named, so for example, I should name those again, just to be clean, because I always imagine when you come back later and you have no idea what you did there. So for example, this one I simply call overmold. Okay, that was basically everything.